Have you ever looked back through some old notes, maybe in an old notebook, and just found an entire world hidden there? That's kind of what we're doing today. We're diving into a lifetime of memories from someone who spent their life by the water. And you'll see how these simple little jottings, they tell these huge stories about courage and confidence.
And this quote, right here, this is really our jumping off point. It's just such a powerful idea, isn't it? That behind every single lesson, every practice, every big win, there's a real person, a real story. And that's what we're here to uncover.
So, the person who collected all these stories, that's swim coach Angela Wilson. And for her, as we're about to find out, the swimming pool was never just a pool. It was basically a classroom for life.
This is Angela's whole philosophy, and it completely reframes what swimming is all about. For her, it's not just about how fast you can go or if your stroke is perfect. No. It's a way to teach confidence. It's how people can learn what she calls the language of courage. I love that phrasing.
Okay, so that sounds great, right? A language of courage. But how does that actually work, like in the real world? Well, let's dive into one story that just perfectly shows this journey. From a kid's fear to this incredible feeling of freedom.
And it all starts right here, with a 5-year-old girl named Natasha Sinha. She was just like any other beginner when she first started, But there was something special there, a little spark of determination that you could see right from day one.
And see, this is the magic of those old notes I was talking about. This one little line, written down who knows how many years ago, it just captures everything. It's not just that she swam 800 meters, it's that she was smiling the whole way. That's the real story right there.
And this is where it gets really amazing. Fast forward years and years, Natasha's carrying the Olympic torch, and she actually points back to this exact lesson. That belief that was planted in her head as a little 5-year-old, that no distance is too far, it literally became a guiding principle for her whole life. It just goes to show how those little lessons and confidence can stick with you forever.
But here's the thing. Natasha's story, it wasn't a one-off. It was more like the first ripple in a pond. That same coaching philosophy just kept spreading out, touching so many lives, and helping to shape some really incredible careers over the years.
I mean, just look at this legacy. A triathlete, an Olympic pentathlete, a medalist at the World Transplant Games. It's amazing. And you know what the craziest part is? Every single one of them started out in exactly the same way, as a nervous beginner. It's just such a powerful testament to the foundation they all built, right there in the water.
So what was the secret sauce here? What was the big trick? According to Angela's notes, it wasn't some crazy, complicated training plan. It was something so much simpler and, honestly, so much more profound. It was just a belief in patience. That was it. That's the key that unlocked all of this potential.
Okay, so we've looked back at all these amazing successes. But now, the story pivots. It starts looking toward the future. It's about taking all those decades of lessons and building something totally new. Something that really captures that special spirit of community you find at a swimming pool.
And that brings us to a pretty big question, right? If you have a whole lifetime of experience, and you've got this philosophy that works, how do you make sure it lives on? How do you turn all of that into a real legacy?
Well, here's the answer. Angela Wilson created All About Swimming. And this isn't just another swim school. It's a place designed for families to reconnect really, with those core ideas of confidence, safety, and just pure joy.
And the whole thing is built on the principles we've been talking about this whole time. Number 1, build that confidence, the same kind that launched athletes like Natasha. Number 2, make sure it's a safe space, because that's the only way confidence can really grow. And number 3, help people rediscover that simple, amazing joy of just being in the water.
But for all the talk of Olympic medals and big awards, Angela's notes show something else. They show that the wins that mattered most to her were often the quietest ones. So let's talk about what she called the real victories.
Okay, so take William Webb. For him, the prize wasn't a gold medal. It was something way more personal. It was the incredible, monumental achievement of overcoming his deep fear of the water and swimming a whole mile. I mean, that's a victory you measure in pure courage. And then there's a story about a boy named Nicholas. Nicholas is nonverbal and has autism, and in the water, he found something profound. He found peace, he found rhythm. For him, swimming became a kind of language without words, a way for him to find calm and connect with the world.
And that really gets to the heart of everything. The headlines might celebrate the champions, and that's great. But it's these quiet, personal breakthroughs These are what really define a legacy. They're just so powerful and absolutely unforgettable.
So, we've come full circle, back to that central idea. It doesn't matter if it's an Olympic medal or just the quiet confidence of a kid learning to float for the first time, every single achievement, big or small, sends out ripples. It creates this positive impact that we might not always see, but trust me, it's there.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. We all have our own challenges, right? Our own pools to cross, so to speak. So after hearing all these stories about courage, it's worth asking yourself, what are the quiet, powerful victories that define your story?